Now that we have reviewed all constituent record types, let's focus on how to find them, starting with the search screen. Feel free to follow along or pause this module at any point. First, open your constituent search window by clicking Constituent Search. Searching by name allows you to search for the constituent by their first or last name, or an organization by the organization's legal name. Lookup ID includes searching for C number, modified C number, ample ID, REID, and other ID numbers migrated into the system. Adding an address, city, state, or zip code will help you to further narrow your search. Let's quickly review the advanced search options. Here, for Search In, you can filter and narrow your search either by individuals, organizations, or groups and households. Check the nickname or alias if you're not sure if you're using a nickname, a legal name, or an alias for this individual. Always selecting the Check Alternative ID option will ensure the system finds a match you are looking for, as multiple IDs migrated into the i-BIS system from previous systems. i-BIS will always exclude deceased and inactive constituents. It is up to you if you wish to include or exclude them from future searches. Include fuzzy search? What does it mean? Let's try it with an example of Mr. Kane. A fuzzy search will turn on Sounds Like option in i-BIS. In other words, when searching for Mr. Kane in the system, it may return variations of the spelling that may be pronounced similar to Kane. Note that your search results will only include the first 100 records that match your search criteria. If your constituent is not listed in the results, you will want to select or deselect options in the advanced search area. This will help you narrow or expand your search possibilities. The system uses sticky functions, which is when the system saves your settings or selections within a given window. In constituent search, your search selections will be selected again next time when you access the search window. To clear all search filters, click the Clear button located at the upper right-hand corner of the window. Now that you have the tools to search the database for constituents, please pause this module and search for your own name or donor if you prefer. Click Continue to return to the module and follow along with us. Let's search for a constituent. We're going to look up Sebastian Kane. Once you find the correct record, the record will open up where you will see the title area. This area includes the name, type of record, constituencies, meaning how they're involved with as well as important notifications about the record. The area directly below includes the summary tiles. As you can see, they provide users with a snapshot view of the information contained within the detailed tabs below. The detail tabs are just that, further enhanced details about the constituents, namely demographics, prospect, revenues, etc. Please note that the summary titles and detail tabs are linked, which means if you click on a summary title below, the detail tab below will automatically be selected and accessed. On the upper left-hand corner of the record, above the Explorer bar, you'll find a section where your tasks are associated with the current record can be found. Tasks are available depending on your job role and securities. These may include add, update, and prospect-related tasks. Below that, you can find the rest of the Explorer bar, which we've talked about during our overview CBL. To reiterate, the Explorer bar holds shortcuts to functions and records you have accessed or used regularly. Lastly, I want to direct your attention to the Customized tiles located on the bottom right-hand corner of the Summary Tiles window. This option allows users to customize which summary tiles are viewed regularly. You can view all the tiles or select which are important and relevant to the work you perform. Note that these are sticky functions, and thus when you set these summary tiles in one record, All records with the same type you'll access going forward will keep this information. To begin, let's look through the detailed tabs, starting with Summary. The Summary tab includes important information, such as overall summary of revenue, which includes any applicable memberships or event revenue, or the 10 most recent revenues recorded, as well as upcoming activities such as event invitations, attendance, prospect interactions, and recent or upcoming appeals. Next, the Contact tab. The Contact tab includes all contact information for the constituent, such as addresses, phone numbers, email address, and social media accounts. Constituents' personal information can be found under the Personal Info tab. Notice the two subtabs. The Personal subtab includes personal information to the constituent, including the constituent's name, marital status, birthday, gender, appropriate name formats, interest, and even event restrictions, like food allergies. This information will also appear in the Event Registration tab. The Constituencies subtab. The Constituencies subtab shows their involvement with the university. Here, you will find whether they are an alumnus, faculty or staff, trustee, trustee-related, a parent, and/or a student. The Relationship tab lists all entities in the system that are related to your constituent, either on a personal or business basis. Notice that the entities are separated depending on the type of relationship, in subtabs, such as groups or committees. In the relationships, you'll also find the type, as well as start and end date. One of the other subtabs is the relationship tree and relationship maps. Relationship maps are visual representations of the constituent's relationship. Here you can see that Sebastian Kane is a constituent married to Carol. They are both members of the household record, and Mr. Kane is also the owner of the Mickey Mouse Foundation. Let's go back to the constituent record. In the Revenue tab, you're able to see individual and household summaries, as well as filter the options. In Revenue, you see subtabs for revenue, as well as for recognition. So what is the difference? Let's define these. Revenue is a hard credit entry or donation tied directly to the constituent, while recognition is simply a soft credit entry. The hard credit lives with the donor constituent. Notice that many of the Detail tabs and subtabs have filter options. Next, let's look at the Memberships. The Membership tab will only appear if the constituent is a member. For example, Mr. Sebastian Kane is a member of a board or committee, the Citizens Board. If Mr. Sebastian Kane was not a member of this board or any other board, the Membership tab would not appear. Next, let's look at the Prospect tab. Similarly, not all constituents in i-BIS will have a Prospect tab. The Prospect tab will only appear once the Prospect constituency code is applied to the constituent's record. Through the Prospect tab, we can track the individual's strategies and solicitations for the assigned prospect. Next is Events. The Constituents Event tab displays all events and attendance information. There are two subtabs. First is Registration, for including dates and status if the constituent has attended. Next, the Invitation subtab includes events and dates as well as the invitations sent. Next, let's look at Education. The Education tab stores all degree information for alumni, with a special note identifying law, medical, and PhD as primary. Other information is stored in this tab, includes self-disclosed education from other higher education institutions, high school information for current students uploading Common App, and lastly, names of scholarships received during their student years, excluding financial data. Next, let's look at the Documentation and Interactions tab. These tabs store important miscellaneous notes and media links. From the Constituent Documentation subtab, users can view all note information from the database related to this constituent. From the Documentation Summary tab is where all constituent-related documentation will surface within the constituent record. When you expand out the different options below to the summary, you can see relevant notes about the constituents as also their interactions. The Survey subtab is where we manage surveys and constituent responses, which help us track their interest. Next, let's look at the Child Education tab. The Child Education tab holds education information for current students who have been identified as a child of the prospect. Next, let's look at region codes. Region codes refer to the area of the country constituents live in or are associated with. Note, while many constituents have multiple address types, the regional codes are linked to the primary address only. And lastly, PaperSave. PaperSave is our document imaging system that helps us streamline our revenue process for gift intake.